My name is Susan, and this is kind of my sordid tale of how I came to relationship with Christ. I always had a want for something, but it was something that I didn't know what that something was. There was just some kind of an emptiness in my whole, I almost must say I could feel it in my whole being, but never knew exactly what that was. When I got into high school, there was a group of students who would meet weekly after school in the cafeteria. They would pray, do Bible study together, and every time I would go past on my way out, I just had this ache that I wanted to be part of that. But I didn't realize how important that was to me. I just felt that, I saw some of my friends in it, so I wanted to be with them. And actually, I was able to tell one of my friends about that not too long ago. And I guess that just goes back to the importance of being in community. And as I got older, I thought, I don't need other people. I've got me, I'm strong, I'm a woman, I don't need anybody. But I started going down a really hard, dark road that making a lot of decisions that I had warned other women not to make. But it was just, I don't need anybody. I'm gonna go be me. And then one day I walked into a church doing a business-to-business visit. And as the pastor was showing me around, I kept hearing this voice saying, "You belong here. You belong here." And I brushed it aside because they were in a building that I had had a lot of years in with my family business. So I just figured, yeah, you belong here because you know the building. And as I was leaving that day, the pastor offered to pray for me. My pattern response through the years had become, "Thank you, I would appreciate that very much," and then turn around and leave. And he said, "No, right now. I want to pray for you right now. What's going on in your life?" Nobody, not even my family, knew that day actually I was starting therapy. And I dissolved while he and another church member were praying for me. I never felt that kind of God presence before. And that was my real turning point. I had tried church a few years prior, but it just, at that time, I guess I was not ready for true relationship with Christ. But that time around, it was completely different for me. I found community. I found strength that I thought I had, but I was so wrong. I made the decision to be baptized a few months after that whole "you belong here" moment. And the emptiness that I felt my whole life, the missing out, the loneliness that I had just completely washed away when I got into not only relationship with Christ, but community with people who are themselves believers and in relationship with Christ. It was just that, I've always said it was just something missing. And it was the peace that comes with Christ and his open arms that I never felt from anybody outside of my parents. But to have that from Christ, from the community of believers, of his people, was something so so beautiful to me. And after some time with growing in Christ and a lot of learning how to let him be my friend, really, I think would be the best way to put it. And being able to talk with him just like I do physical friends, and learning to shut my own mouth and hear him talk with me as well. The whole relationship became a relationship. I actually, instead of knowing of God, I know God. I know what God means to me. I know what life was like before I knew God. And it was so dark, so lonely. But it's just been a complete reversal on that. I grew up a lot. I grew up a lot in a very short period of time in that. There's a lot to be said for that relationship with God. And sometimes we get caught up in, I'm busy with the kids, I'm busy with my job. We get tied up in our lives, but we don't realize that a life without God, without that presence, really actually isn't a life. You're just busy, you're occupying time, but there's no true strength in what you're doing without God, without that stability that comes in relationship with him. Every person has their own different path that they go on in life. And yeah, we think we're strong, we think we don't need anybody, we can do it ourselves. But when you invite God into your life, you're not alone. And it's not only having God in your life, but having community with others who believe, and having a church family is so important with that as well. I'm sure the people in my church get tired of hearing me say the word community, but that means so much to me. And I did a lot of thinking a few weeks ago as to why that word means so much to me. And it was because growing up, that was something that I did not have. There weren't a lot of kids my age in the neighborhood. Things were a little bit different with our family compared to most other families. And I just had no community that was mine. It was always people that my parents knew, but nobody of my own age or my own I had a lot of people that were my parents' people, but none of my own people, kind of thing. But when I came into a community of Christ believers, you have the support from those people as well, and people that are walking that same path with you. They may not have gotten there the same way that you did, but you're still walking that together. You are not alone. You've got God with you. You've got the people in your community with you. And that is something that, the phrase "there's strength in numbers," I think really sums up what the community of Christ is for people. And just not being alone and having that at all times is the ultimate reason for community for me.